Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome. Greetings from Missouri, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, I guess. I just wanted to give you guys a brief video rundown of your unit. I know it's very important. That's the big thing that's weighing down on your minds, and you guys are going to have the rest of the week in class time to work on this. Obviously, utilize your time outside of class to work on it if necessary. But I'll just show you how to get there pretty simple. Just like all of our assignments, you can just go to classwork, left click on that, go to the Cold War, final. Here you go, and you simply click on the video link, on the document link. I've made it so there's a copy for each and every one of you, so all you got to do is click on it, and your own personalized copy will appear. So what are you doing with this unit final? You're basically demonstrating your understanding of our essential questions by showing your ability to generate soft power. So you'll have to have done the lesson before, utilizing today's information sources. And just a quick review of the central questions: what problems result from tensions between world powers? How did they attempt to resolve these problems? And then the one that you guys told me you wanted to focus on a little bit more: what draws a person or government to an ideology, and can an ideological war be more dangerous than a physical war? Well, you guys are going to show me what an ideological war looks like by demonstrating your ability to show soft power. So, what are you doing basically? You're essentially making Cold War era propaganda using modern day sources that would be helpful at spreading propaganda, and then doing a brief write-up to explain how you do this. I broke it up into steps for you though. It's basically a 4-step process. There's even an example to help you guys out. To show you how you're supposed to do this. Step 1, choose an information source. It can be like a Facebook page. A lot of people use Facebook pages to spread propaganda nowadays. Instagram, same thing. You can make an advertisement website or even a video. You can make a TikTok. Do try to stick to one of these 4 ideas, just because I can't really confirm whether or not you guys want to use new ideas. You can make a propaganda poster. I'll say that. You can also make a propaganda poster. But due to my working restraints, I'm pretty busy with the Army, obviously. It's kind of hard for me to get back to you guys on your emails. That's why I'm doing this mass video right now, to hopefully answer any and all questions. And then again, you're only using one information source, so choose wisely. Okay? Next up, you're going to choose an ideology. You're only choosing one ideology, just like you're only choosing one information source. You're either going to go with U.S. capitalism or Soviet communism during the Cold War. And each of these sources, or whatever source you choose, you're going to be making propaganda for this source, or for this ideology. Next up, you're going to actually be creating the soft power platform, right? So you're going to be trying to spread the influence of your chosen ideology by using your chosen information source to support your chosen ideology. And your source must contain the following. You need to somewhere explicitly state your chosen ideology. Somewhere within this source, you also need to explain why your ideology is better or superior to your unchosen ideology. So for example, what if you chose Soviet communism? In your source, you would need to say that you're supporting Soviet communism. And then somewhere you'd have to explain why Soviet communism is superior to U.S. capitalism of the Cold War era. Then finally, another soft power technique, propaganda, right? You need to utilize at least 4 of the 7 elements of propaganda. We already went over this, but I included the slideshow right here just in case you forgot. Here you go. Then you go down to the propaganda area. Here it is defined, but here are the elements of propaganda, like name calling, glittering generalities, transfer. So again, name calling, where you link a person, country, ideology to a negative symbol. Glittering generalities, the opposite of name calling. Transfer, where you project negative qualities onto another person, just to try to discredit them. Card stacking, use statistics in a one-sided manner. We did the example with oh, this guy sounds great. And he was oh, he's a vegetarian. He really cares about the environment and animals. And I was actually, this was the leader of Germany in World War II. I had left out some important details. That's card stacking. Bandwagon, everyone else is doing it, you should do it. Fear, trying to make people scared, basically. And common folk, appealing to regular old people. So you don't need to use all of those. You just need 4 of the 7. So you're allowed to not use 3, basically. And then at the end, after you make the source, you do an explanation write-up. So you're going to explain your source in 1 to 2 paragraphs, depending on how many you need. You can probably do it in 1 paragraph, but you can use 2 if you want. You're going to have to demonstrate to me in complete sentences how your information source explained the superiority of your chosen ideology and point to how you demonstrated at least 4 of the 7 elements of propaganda. I have a really good example, and we'll watch it together as a part of this example. So this is actually modern day propaganda. So modern day like US capitalism versus modern day kind of Chinese authoritarianism in the Soviet Union, in the Chinese Communist Party led China, the People's Republic of China. So we're going to watch this video together real quick just so we can see what I kind of hope. I mean, it doesn't have to look like this, but this is an example of what you can do. Obviously, you do have to use US capitalism or Soviet communism. You cannot champion the cause of modern Chinese People's Republic of China Communist Party like she does in the video, but she's not actually my student. This is just like real life propaganda. So let's watch it together. Okay, so she's basically already drawn the parallel. She's like, the US thinks they're awesome. In the movies, they got like one hero, like a Rambo, or I don't know any other American heroes. Rocky. There we go, Rocky 4. Rocky. They have these heroes and one person saves the world. But that's not the case. In reality, it's really China. I would say that she just used a glittering generality. Basically, where she said just overall, China's great. She doesn't really give any evidence yet, but she says the US doesn't help out the world. Their individuals can't help out the world. But in crisis like today, China is saving the world. Continue. Okay, so that would be an example of card stacking. She's like, well, China's so great because we helped out 82 countries and organizations. But then I could also ask the question, like, yeah, that's good, but like, what about like restricting your travel? What about sharing matters on the virus? What about letting people into your country to investigate? What about severe press censorship of people trying to investigate? So I would say that's card stacking because yes, it's true. China has helped out 82 countries worldwide, but also a lot of leadership from the Chinese Communist Party really enabled this pandemic to become bigger than it had to be in terms of spread. So that would be card stacking. She's not giving us the whole picture. Okay, that would be an example of transfer. So she's trying to portray a positive light on basically the Chinese government. She says a lot of these people are struggling. We're also struggling, but hey, unlike some people, cough, cough, America, we are stretching out and lending a helping hand to those who are suffering. She's putting a positive trait onto China. They are kind even to the enemies, the historical enemies of China, like she says. That would be fear. China is their last and only hope. They're not going to be able to survive without China, therefore you should support China. Um, I mean, I don't know how true that is, but she's saying that, I mean, it's propaganda, right? She's utilizing fear. Like, oh snap, I really got to try to have China help me out because my country's not going to be able to survive unless I follow what China wants me to do. Oh, so she doubles down. She's like, without China, these countries that got help from China probably just never would have survived. Double downing on the fear, really sticking it through. Okay, and there we go. So that's kind of bandwagon. She's saying just jump on the bandwagon. China's not just its own little country. China's not even just a part of Asia. China is a part of the world now. Bandwagon. So just basically in that one thing we saw glittering generalities, card stacking, transfer, fear, and bandwagon. And that was only a minute video. She did that pretty well, like obviously because it's real propaganda, so it's like a little bit easier to like dissect real propaganda than like fake propaganda. So she did 5 techniques of propaganda in a 1-minute video. I only need 4 minutes of propaganda, or 4 techniques of propaganda from you guys. But that's a good example. She clearly demonstrates, like I said, glittering generalities. When mankind faces big crises, it's China who stands out and saves the world. Okay? Card stacking. China helped 82 countries and organizations to fight the pandemic. Yeah, but what about like them letting the virus out and not restricting travel, not letting people do investigations, not letting health companies or health regulatory organizations go into the country? Big stuff you left out. Transfer. Even though China is suffering, other people are suffering, China is the one who's willing to step out and provide a helping hand. They are more benevolent and kind than the other countries because they're all suffering. Her fear. China is the last and only hope. Without China, many of these countries never would have been able to survive. Fear. And then bandwagon. China is not just in Asia. China is not just China. It's not just very small. It is now a part of the world. Everyone hop on board the China train. Those are the 5 techniques she used, but again, she could have used other techniques as well. And those are just the 5 I was able to kind of pick out pretty quick. You could even say she kind of name called at the beginning, being like, America thinks that they can save the world, but in reality, China saves the world, you know. So you could even say she used 6. But yeah, that's basically it. I think that the example really helps you understand what you need to create, and then you would just obviously need to make a write-up. So she'd have to explain if she was like a student or whatever, like, oh yeah, I chose to use these elements of propaganda, and this is how I showed that China is better than the USA. And again, I'm going to try to make this clear because I guarantee you still people are going to be confused. But you are advocating for US capitalism or Soviet communism. I just obviously couldn't find an example online for this because stuff is like a little bit old. That's why I used a modern day example. But you're not choosing Chinese capitalism or Chinese communism or modern day US capitalism. You are choosing either US capitalism or Soviet communism from the Cold War. I just used this example to show you guys what propaganda techniques look like in the real world. So yeah, that's basically it. Please feel free to email me any questions that you have. I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be pretty busy, especially like Wednesday and Thursday. And this is due Friday, so really try to email me your questions. I'll do my best, but like my schedule is really weird with the Army stuff. But thank you guys for your time. I'm sorry that the quarter had to end like this. I trust that you guys can do this. Remember, all your late work is due on Friday. I believe in you. Just keep working hard. The quarter's almost over. And thank you for your time.